Hi guys, welcome to Abdelytics. My name is Abdel, and if this is the first time you are watching my video, remember to subscribe, like, and share. To those of you who have been watching and have not subscribed yet, just remember to subscribe, like, and share. Some of you have been sending me some fantastic messages of encouragement. I love that. Thank you so much. Okay, this is what I have for you today, e-commerce dashboard. I'm going to take you through step by step on how I managed to get this done. Okay, so when you look at the screen on the left side, we have the slices. You can select by month, and then we also have categories down here. Now on top here, the KPIs, we have customers. So for the selected month, we have it shown here, and this is compared to the previous month. So you show the growth here. You can see it is green because it is positive. Now for sales, it's negative because it is red because it's negative compared to the previous month. Okay, we have the sales by payment method. This shows that credit card is a preferred method of payment in June. Now, something interesting down here, you can see it is a combination of the column chart and slices. So if I select a particular month, you realize that the month is highlighted, and then you can see the amount for that month and its percentage in the total amount. Okay, I can also press Control and select another one. So I can select as many as I want, and then you can see the total for the three selected months down here. This is very interesting. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. We have the most sold product here. It shows the orders, the growth. We have some spark line. I also show the AOV, the average order value for that particular product. On this side, we have the distribution map. You can see the various countries being shown in the map here, and then we have those countries also showing down with the values. If I click here, you will see that it shows only the continent. If I click back, it shows the country. Okay, so without wasting too much time, let's get started. Let me open a new Power BI desktop. Okay, so here I'll go and look for the file. Data, I get my e-commerce data here. Transform data. So we have our data loaded here. As usual, we are going to create some dimension tables. So let's look at it. We have order ID, we have date, we have the customer ID, we have the product ID, product name, category. So I'm going to create a dimension table for product, and I'll do the same thing for payment method, payment status, country, and continent. You can choose to leave it like this, but I'm always like it is better to have these dimension tables. Okay, so let me duplicate this. Okay, so the first one is to look at the product ID, product name, and category. Okay, so I'll remove the other columns. I'll maintain only these three columns, and then I'll just go here and remove duplicate. Okay, very good. So now I can rename this as game product. Okay, now the next one is to look at payment method. So I'll right click this, remove other columns, which means that I want to maintain only payment method. I'll right click again, remove duplicate. Now I need to add a column. For product, I didn't do that because it already has a product ID. Okay, so I'll add a column here, starting from 1. And then I'll rename this to be product payment method ID. Okay, so let me shift it to be at the beginning. Okay, so I'll rename this to be game as dimension payment method. Now let's look at the next one. I think it's payment status. So I'll select this, right click, remove other columns. I'll right click again, remove duplicates. Then I'll add a new column starting from 1. That's the index column. And that is what I'll use to link it to the fact table. So this is going to be payment status ID. Let me move it to the beginning. Okay, so I'll rename this to be dimension payment status. Then the last one is the country and continent. So I'll put these two together. So what I did was to select the country, press Ctrl and select continent, and then you remove other columns. You make sure the two are selected, or what you can do is to just go here, because if I right click here and say remove duplicates, it may not be the best. You may have some duplicate somewhere else. So what we do is to make sure the duplicate affect the two. So remove duplicates, that's it. So you can see that the country is unique. Continent may be duplicate, that's not a problem. So let me add a new column starting from 1, and this is going to be country ID. So I'll drag this here. Then I can rename this to be dim country. Okay, so let me rename this as fact e-commerce data. Now that we have created these dimension tables, what we need to do is to link all of them. How do we link them? So what I need to do is to select the fact table, then I'll go to home, I'll go to merge query, and what I need to do is to merge the payment method and payment status. Why am I not merging the product table? So this is what's going to happen. Already this dim product has the product ID. So what I need to do is just to maintain the product ID here. Then I'll take out the product name and the category. Okay, very good. So let's cross check here. We have 3001 to 3005. Let's load all. So 3001 to 3005. Let's look at it here. So you can see 3001, 3, 2, 4, 5. Fantastic. So we are on the right path. Okay, so the next one is to go to merge query. Then we are going to merge our payment method to the dimension payment method table. So look at this here. I'll select this as well. You can see it's matching down here. If you don't select the right column, you will see this message. So I'm selecting the right column so that I'm sure that I'm doing the right connection. Okay, so I'll click OK. And then when I click OK, what I have to do is to take out the payment method column and maintain only the payment method ID, because that's what we are going to use to link it to the dim payment method table. Okay, the next one is to go again to merge query, and this is going to affect payment status. So let's go to payment status, select this, and you can see, then we click OK. We get that also as a table. I'll click here and then maintain only payment status ID. And then the last one is going to be the country and continent. So let's go to country is what I'll select first. Then I'll press Control key on my keyboard to select continent. So you can see 1, 2 here. And then down here, we go to dim country. We make sure we select country first and then continent second. The order must follow. Then you can see it's matching down here. I click OK. And then what I have to do is to maintain only the country ID. So I click OK. So now we can close and apply. After close and apply, you can see the tables here. let's go to our model view to see if the tables are linked the right way. So we have the payment status somewhere here linked to the fact table, which is going to be in the middle. Then we have the payment method somewhere here. Now it looks like the country is not linked and the product as well. So let me bring that here so we can do the linking. Okay, so we have country ID here, should be linked to country ID. Let's see here. Okay, so you can see, then I click save, and then we are going to do the same thing for product ID and the product ID here. So I'll link this to this, then I click save. Okay, very good. So we are sure now that everything is linked. Very good. Now let's go back to our report view. What we need to do first is to bring in our background, and also we need to create our calendar table and the measures we are going to use as well. This is going to be very interesting. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Okay, I'm also going to make available this dashboard for those of you who are interested in buying it. It's going to be from $7 to $10. Thank you to those who have bought many of my dashboard files. Very nice. It's very encouraging. Okay, so let me create the calendar table. I'm going to bring the calendar measure code so that we can speed up whatever we are doing. I have used that in many of my videos before, and I'm going to use the same thing here. So let's go to table view. Then I'll click new table. Then I'll just paste it here. So you can see we have calendar auto. This is going to check the date tables and then start from the beginning till the end. So getting the mean and the max, and then out of that we are going to get the year, month number, and so on and so forth. So when I press enter, you should be able to see it down here. So you can see starting from 2nd January all the way down there. Okay, so we have our calendar table. Now we need to link our calendar table to the fact table which has the date. Okay, so I'll just drag this date from here to this, and then we click save. Very good. So let's go back to our report view. Now what I need to do next is to go to my format. Then I'll go to canvas background. I want to bring in the background I've already created using PowerPoint. So let's go to images and icons. I'm going to make this also available. So now we have our background, but it's not showing. Why? Because the transparency is 100%. So we have 0, and this is going to show fully. Very good. Now, for us to be able to create our measures, I want us to create a table that will keep all the metrics. So we are going to create various measures for customers, sales orders, average order value. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to create a table first. And then this is going to be all measures or just measures. Okay, so in this, we'll create our first measure. And the first measure is going to be customers. Now, for customers, we want to know the unique customers that we have. So it's going to be customers equal to distinct count. Okay, and it's going to be customer ID. Okay, just to avoid duplicate. Now we have customers. The next one is to create one for measures, one for sales. So sales will be equal to sum total sale amount. We need to also have a measure for the number of orders. So orders will be equal to count rows in our factory, what e-commerce. Okay, and then the average order value is going to be the total sales division number of orders. So another measure for average order value. Okay, so AO will be equal to divide sales by number of orders. Okay, very good. Now let's bring those in. So I'll bring in a new card visual. And for the card visual, I need the number of customers, number of orders, the sales, and average order value. Okay, so let me resize it. You can see it's showing only 3 cards. So what we need to do is to go to layout, then maximum card to be 4. Okay, so I'll reduce it this way for it to fit in here. Okay, so we'll do a bit of formatting for the call out values. I want to make it 25. Okay, and sorry, I'll go to cards. I want to take out the background and also the border. Very good. Now the background will be turned off. Okay, so we have something not so bad here. Now let me quickly bring in the icons. So for now, I'll bring in one image. So let's browse to the icon. So I'll use customers to format all the rest before I change it. So let's make it 40. Okay, 30. Okay, very good. So now let me change it for the rest. So for orders, we'll change the icon to something like this. For sales, we'll use this. And then for EOV, I didn't use any icon, so let's just take this up. Okay, so we have this now. The next thing we want to do is to bring in our filters and also work on the reference labels. Okay, so let me also bring in this. We'll bring in the slicer. Now for month, what's going to happen is when I select month, look at what we have. It's sorting by in ascending by alphabetic in alphabetic order. So what we need to do is to start from January all the way to December. So I'll select month here, then I'll go to sort by month number. Okay, so you can see that now it's starting from January all the way to December. Now I'll select it again. I'll go to layout. I want it to be just 1 column, and then the maximum will be 12. We have 12 months. Okay. Okay, so let's format it. I'll turn off the background. The title should be 12. I'll just say select month. I'll center it. I'll now go to the call out values, center that as well. The shape should be rounded rectangle, okay, and it should be 10. Okay, so let me make it 7. Okay, now for the, let's go to buttons. I'll use narrow for the size. Okay, and whenever it is selected, I want it to have a particular color. I want it to be this blue. Okay, so I have the color somewhere here. So what I'll do is, when it is selected, so make sure you click on selected, you go to fill, and then you change the color to be this color. Okay, that is when it is selected. I don't want the background, so I don't want the border, so let's just go here. Or I can use the border to be the same, and then the transparency will be something like 90. Okay, something like this. Okay, very good. No, 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 no. Let's keep the border to be something like this. Or black. Okay, I'll use something like this. Okay, good. And also the space between the cards, it should be in layout. Okay, so here I'll make it 2 so we can have enough space. Very good. I'm going to do the same thing for the category. So now if we select for that particular month, we have the KPI shown. Okay, let me just copy this, paste it here, and then instead of month, then I'll select product category. So here we can, I need to change the title to product select category. This also, let's make it there. Okay, very good. So we are done with the slices. The next thing is to have our growth. Okay, so we need to quickly work on the growth. So customer previous month. So what I'm going to do is to create a new measure for the previous month. So customers previous month is going to be calculate customers, and then we use the previous month function and pass the calendar date to it. So we have the customer previous month. Okay, so we are now going to use the previous month to calculate the growth. Okay, so what I want to do is to go again and click new measure, and this is going to be customers growth. And this will be divide, we use the divide function, and it's going to be customers, that's the current month customers, minus the previous month customers, division previous month customers. Okay, so that is for the growth. Okay, now I'll use the growth to calculate the color. So if the growth is greater than 0, then it's green. If it is less, it is red. So let's do that right away, because that's what I will use for the color formatting. Okay, so customers color, and this is going to be if customers growth is greater or equal to 0, give us green. else give us red. Okay, so let's arrange what we have here. Okay, so for that to happen, I'll go to model view. In model view, what I'll do is to select customers and then create a folder for it. So I'll just say customers. Okay, so we have a folder here. Now I'll select this, press Control to select this as well, everything about customer, then we put it here. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing for AOV. So AOV will also have its own folder that will be called AOV. Same thing will be done for orders as well. So orders, and then we have sales. Okay, very good. Now I'm going to use whatever I've created for customer to work on the rest. So previous month customers. So I'll just copy, create new measure. So I'm going to orders, new measure. And then in here, I'll select customers, press Ctrl Shift L. Everything about customers should be changed to orders because we are doing that for orders. And then I'll use the same thing for AOV. So new measure, paste, I'll select customer, press Ctrl Shift L, change it to AOV. I'll do the same thing for sales as well. New measure, and then Ctrl Shift L, sales. Now the next one to create is the group. So let me go to group, select, highlight, select copy. Then I'll go to AOV folder. I'll replace customers with AOV. So I'll press Ctrl Shift L, and then it's going to be AOV. I'll do the same thing for orders as well. Control Shift, no, customers, Control Shift L. This is going to be orders. And the same thing will be applied to sales as well. So let's go to sales folder, create a new measure, highlight customers, Control Shift L, then this is going to be sales. The last one to create is the color. Okay, so I'll copy this. I'll go to AOV first, new measure, I'll select customers, Control Shift L, AOV, orders, new measure, Control Shift L, orders, now I'll do the same thing for sales. Okay, so now let's go to our report view and start adding those to the reference. So I'll make sure this is selected. Okay, then I'll go to reference labels. Now for customers, I want to bring in the customer growth. So this is for customer growth. you can see it's showing minus 0.02. We need to format that as well. Now, if I select orders growth, I need to change it to percentage, and then I want it to be 1. Now, instead of doing that for each one of them, I can just go to, let's go to my model view. In my model view, I'll make sure I select all the group. So AOV growth, customer growth, orders growth, sales growth. Then I'll come here, make sure I select percentage for all, and then I want the decimal places to be 1. So by doing so, you are doing it for all at once. Okay, so let me go to, yeah, I think we are done here. Let's go back here. Okay, so you can see customer group is showing 1.8. Let's go here and see April 0. Minus 0.6. Okay, so what we now need to do is to change. Okay, let me add for the rest. Make sure this is selected again. So customer group is done. The title is okay for now. So let me select orders. For orders, I'll add the group here. For sales, I'll add sales growth here. And then for AOV, I'll add the AOV growth here. Okay, now what I need to do next is to format this to be red when it is negative, and then green when it is positive. Okay, so let's do that quickly. So for customers, we go to value, and then we go to color, conditional formatting. So I'll select, for the format style, it's going to be field value. Then I'll look for anything color. Then it's going to be customer color. Okay, so you can see it here. Now I'll do the same thing for orders. So let me select orders. Conditional formatting. Format style should be field value. I'll look for anything color. Then I'll select orders color. Okay, so it's showing green here. I'll go again, select sales. We'll go to the value, conditional formatting for sales, field value, anything color, sales color. Then the last one is AOV. So let's go and select AOV. Field value, anything color, then AOV color. Okay, so we have this now. The next is to do a bit of formatting, but also I need to bring in the previous month here. Instead of customer group, I need to show the previous month, and we need to create a measure for the previous month. Okay, so to get a measure for the previous month, let me just go here and create a new measure. For the new measure, is going to be previous month, and that will be equal to, let me create a value, a variable called my previous month, and that is going to be calculate selected value. So we want to know which month was selected. So calendar month, and then we bring in the previous month by using the previous month function. So calendar date. So this should be able to give us the previous month of the selected month. So I'll now select this. I'll now return this. And before returning, I want to append it with versus previous month, and also append with colon. Okay, so it's just going to add verses and then add previous month, show previous month, and add colon. Okay, so that is what we are going to use for this label. So I'll go here to the reference label again. I'll select customers, and then a customer here, it is difficult for us to touch even the title. So what I'll do is to make sure I select the customer group, and in doing so I'm able to change this one to custom, where I can either change the text to whatever I want, or I'll use my conditional formatting measure that I created. So field value, and this is going to be previous month. So you can see that now it's showing versus March. If I select May, it's showing versus April. If I select June, it's showing versus May. Very good. And then we are going to do the same thing for the rest. So quickly, let me select this again. Then we select orders. Watch carefully. If you have any issue, let me know. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. So here, orders group. I'll select custom. Then it brings me here. Sorry, I want to be sure. Yeah. So it brings me here previous month. Okay. The title should be 10. I didn't do it for the other one. Let's use 10 for it. Okay. So the next one is sales. For sales, I'll make sure I select the label. I'll make sure the title I select custom. Then here I go and select previous month. And then we do the same thing for AOV. I didn't reduce the title for sales to 10. Okay, so now for all of them, I don't want to use divider. Okay, and then I also go to the spacing and reduce this to something like 2. Then resize. Okay, so I think we are done with this now. So it looks exactly like what we have here. Okay, so now we create a sales by payment method. That's a very simple one. So let's just bring in our donut chart, and this is going to be sales by payment method. Okay, and then you can also add sales by payment status. And also another thing you can also do is to create some filters here, or you go to parameter, you create a new parameter so that anybody can choose if they want the sales, they want customers by payment method, orders by payment method, AOV by payment method. Okay, so I'm just making it simple. You can expand it, you can make it far better than what I'm presenting to you now. Okay, so for the title for this, we make it 12. Okay, and the slices, the inner radius, I want to make it 85 or 80. And this is very simple. Okay, so we are done with this. Very good. The next one is this nice combination of the column chart with slices down here. Okay, so let's quickly do that. So I'll go to home, bring in my chart. Okay, so it's going to be sales. Okay, so this is going to be sales, and then it's going to be by month. But look at what is happening. It's showing only July. Why? Because July is selected here. If I don't select anything, we have all the months. But when I select, we have, which is normal. But here, what I want to do is, I don't want this to be affected whenever a month is selected. So make sure you go to format, you go to edit interactions, you select this first, which means that anytime I select anything here, I don't want this to be affected. So you just do what? None here. Then you can see this is showing. Okay, so let's resize this here. Okay, and then we start the formatting. For the title, I want it to be 12. Okay, so for x-axis, I don't want to show the title. And let me leave this for now there because I need to take it off also. So we go to y-axis. I don't need a title as well. So this is what we have. Okay, now I want the column bar to be the color we'll be using, which is okay. Now I need to bring in, let me turn the background off. So I need to bring in my slicer, which will have the month, but I don't want to use the month in my calendar table. So I need to create a disconnected table. So how do I do that? First, I'll go to modeling, and then I can create it as a numeric range. And then what I'm going to say, so I want this to be, what name should I give it? Month param. Okay, so minimum is going to be 1. That will be for January. And then maximum will be 12. So I want a slicer for that. So now I want to change this one to be the new slicer. So make sure it's selected, and then you go and select new slicer so you can see from 1 to 12. Okay, so I want it to be on one row. So this is going to be single row, and here is going to be 12. The space between, maybe I can make it 4. Then I'll reduce it. I don't need a title for this. Okay, so I'll also turn off the background. So this is what we have. Okay, so when I put it down here, you realize that 1 stands for January, February, or the 2 February, and all the way to 12. Okay, so what I need to do is, we cannot show the user 1, 2, 3, all the way to 12. That's not nice. So what I want to do is to create a measure that will display January for 1, February for 12, and so on and so forth. So we'll create a new measure which will be called month switch. So I have the measure somewhere here. Let me just paste it. So new measure. So I have this one here, and what it's doing is, let's correct this. Okay, so it checks which month, which number we have here. If it is 1, give us Jan all the way to December. So let me press enter. And how do we make that show here? So I'll select this first, the slicer. I'll go to call out values. I don't want to show the values, but I want to show the labels. So now I'll put my month switch here for it to show this. I can now hide the x-axis values. don't want the formatting icon to be shown. Okay, I think the space between is not helping, so let me increase it to something like 7. Okay, so we'll rework on that. That's not a problem. Can reduce this. I'll narrow it. I can even format. Let's take this one. Format there. Then format this. But we'll go to layout. Instead of single column, it should be row, and then 12. We don't want to show the title. Good. So I can reduce this. But our one, the January, February, March, everything is done. That's fine. So let's go back here. We go to label. We add the month switch here. And then we take out the values. So you can see we have this here. Now the coloring, when it is selected, I want the color to be something like this. So this is going to be the, sorry, I'm actually the border. That's, it should be the fill rather. Okay. Why? Because default is selected. Okay. Sorry. So I'll go back to white, and then when it is selected, it should be this color. Okay. And the next thing to do is to go to the call out values and change this one to white. So when it is default, when it is selected, the label should be white. And then bold. Okay. That's good. So now, when I select any of them, we need to adjust this. We adjust this. Okay, so when I select any of them, it should highlight the bar. So there is a measure that we need to create. I'm going to copy that as well to fast track everything. So I'll go here, select new measure. Then I'm pasting it here. I'll say S-param, not param. This is also not param. And what is this doing? I'm creating a variable to get all the selected months, and then what's going to do is it will filter and check if the max month is part of the selected month. If yes, it will give us this color, and then if it is no, it's defaulted to this blue. Okay, so let's press enter. And then I'll go and select this visual. I'll go to columns, conditional formatting, then format style should be field value, and here is going to be month highlight color. Then I click OK. Watch this. Now when I click here, it's highlighted. When I click here, it's highlighted. When I press my control and select this, is highlighted. Select this, is highlighted. Now we want to show the total of the highlighted month. Okay, there is another measure that I created for that as well. So we'll create a new measure. This is going to be month param, month param. Okay, so just like I did in the previous measure, you can see we are getting the selected month, and then we are getting the selected month sales. So when you get a selected month, what it's doing is calculating the sales based on the selected month. Okay, then here also is calculating the percentage. So it's dividing the selected month by the total sales for you to know what's the percentage of the selected month sales compared to the overall total. Now, here I'm just doing a formatting. So what I'm doing is that if it is part of the selected month, so I'll put a label here which is highlighted month sales. So we format the total of the highlighted month sales, which we have here. So you can see it here. So it's formatted to be million. And then we also format the percentage as well. Then we append the overall total sales to this. Okay. If you don't understand this, you can ask me. I will explain it to you. Well, okay. So let's go back to our visual here. Now I'll enable the subtitle. Okay. And what do we want to put in our subtitle? The newly created measure. So I'll go to conditional formatting. Then I'll look for highlighted month details. Then we click OK. So look at that. Let me just highlight one of them. So September, if you look at September here, is 2,000,009. Let's format this. So let me go to sales. It should be currency. Decimal places. I'll make it 2. Okay, so when you come here, you can see 2 million. Then you can also see the same amount here, and then it's showing a percentage compared to overall total. The overall total is 36 million, not this. This is for the selected month. If I uncheck this or deselect this, you can see that it's 36 million. Okay, so that is it. Now I think we are done with this. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is our product orders, sales, and stuff. So let's go back here. I'll bring in the table. For the table, what we need is the product, so here we need the product, not the category, the product, the orders, we need the sales, and the AOV. Okay, so for the orders, we have a spark line, and also we have the order group. So let me bring in the order group. Under orders, sales group, under sales, AOV group, under AOV. Okay, good. Now let me go to orders, add spark line, and then because we already have the month selected here, it's going to be day. So it's going to be by day. Okay, so that's for sales. I can bring it here. We do the same thing for orders. Orders will also be by day. So let me bring it here. Then for AOV, what I did was to use the conditional formatting. Then I used data bars, more colors. Here. So for AOV, this is what we have. Okay, so let's quickly format this. This. For orders growth, let's just make this one OG. Sales by day, space. Sales growth, SG. And this is going to be AG. Okay. For AOV, data bars color, I need to change this to something like this. Okay. So laptop has the highest AOV. Okay, so let's format this table. Also, I have not brought in the image yet. For the image is not part of the table, so let's go and bring that. So I'll go and bring in a new file. Let's go to data, product images. So transform data. Okay, so you can see we have column 1, column 2 here instead of product name and image. So let's use first rows as headers. So we have this here. Now what I want to do is to go to dim product. I'll go to merge queries. I'll select product name. I'll go to product images. I'll also select product name here. Then we click OK. Once done, I'll go and click here and then maintain only the image column. So you can see the image will be here. Now that we have gotten that, we can just disable load. So just deselect enable load here. It's not going to load this table. We'll do the same thing for country flag as well. Let's do it right away. We'll click OK. Good. Let's use first row as headers. We'll now go to country. Over there, we just go to merge queries. We'll select the country name. Look for country flags. Select country name here. Click OK. Maintain only image. Now for country flags, we can also disable load. Now we are done. Let's close and apply. Good. So now we can add the product image to this table. So let's select the table. Okay, so we go to our product dimension table. We select image. Now when you do that, it's not actually bringing the image. Look at what we have here until you highlight the image column and then you categorize it to be image URL. Okay, so let's now format the table. I will now go and resize the image. So I want it to be 25. Okay, so here we'll now drag the image up on top here. Okay, so here this is going to be product. What did I do? Okay, so we start again. I'll bring in my image. We have it here. Okay, so I'll leave it at the top here. Let's look at this. What is the LC in this expression? Okay. So let me bring this back. Okay, so I'm suspecting there is something that we did that is affecting this. Let's go back to our transform data. It could be because I'm not loading the table. Let's try something and see. So let me just right click and say enable load. Okay, now let's close and apply. And then we bring in our image again. Okay, so where is our image? Let me see. I can change it to product name, product now. You see, this is now working. Okay, so I think that's something that I need to relook at. That's not a problem. I'll check again. So we have the product, we have the orders. For the growth, we need to change the color based on what we have. So how do we do that? So let me go to, how do we do that? Let me go to cell elements. In cell element, I'll make sure OG is selected. Font color, conditional formatting, format style is going to be field value. So it is order group color. So order color, we click OK. So we have that here. I'll do the same thing for sales growth. Font color, field value, color rather. So sales color, I click OK. So we have that also here. And for the last one, average order value growth, font color, field value, AOV color. Okay, so we have that also here. Let's format the table. So the grid, we don't need it. The value, the alternate background color should be white. Okay, so for the total, we don't need that as well. Good. And the last one is the line here. That should be in options or border. Yes, border. I want the color to be something like this. Very good. So this is what we have. We can resize the image to take the space. Okay, so this is good, very good. Okay, so let's move to the next one, which is the map here. So let me go and bring in my shape map. Okay, so for the shape map, because we are using the, okay, so let's just bring in the values first. So I'm using sales here, and it should be by country. So I have country here, but you can see this is only giving us US. So let's go to map settings. We'll go to this side, which is the map type. We want to customize it, and I have the map JSON. You open, so this is going to give us all of them. So you see all the countries, so Canada and the amount in July. Okay, so let's format this now. I want to zoom, auto zoom, zoom on selection, the fill color, blank areas should be white. You can disable it. If you disable it, this is how it's going to look like, but I want it to be white, and the border color should be the color we have been using. Okay, so this is what we have for the map. Okay, so something interesting. Let me just format this to just turn off the background. Okay, so something interesting is going to happen here. So you see, so let's first create the country table and also the continent table. Okay, so let me first create that of the country. I can copy this and paste, and here I'll remove product, image, others. We want to keep only sales and sales growth. Okay, take out the spark line, the AOV, also the AOV growth. So I'm maintaining only these two, so I can now add the country to it. Country will be on top here. Okay, and the next thing to do is to bring in the country flag. We need to categorize it first to the image URL. And we can now bring it here. Yeah, so the same thing is happening. What we need to do, let's just go to home, transform data, and then country flag, let's include it, enable load. Now, something we need to quickly do when we get back there is to, I'm sure a relationship will be created for those tables. So let's just go and take them out. So you can see now the flag will be shown. Okay, so it's showing clearly. Okay, so let's go here and okay, so no relationship has been created, which is good. Okay, so let's get here. Now we have the country flag, the sales, and the sales growth. Now there is something else I'm showing here, and this is an SVG. If you don't want to go by this route, what you can do is just to show the data bar. So what you do is, let's try it for you to see if you don't want to use the SVG. So highlight, make sure the table is selected. You go to sales, you can go to data bars, and what you do is to show the data bar only, and that's it. So you create another measure that will hold the data bar. If you want to show the sales as well as the data bar, then show, what you can do is to go by this route. That's one. This is one route. Another one is to show the sales value separate and the data bar separate. Okay, so I'll go by the SVG. So let's remove this conditional formatting that we have, so the sales will be shown again. We have our sales now, and then let me go and bring in my SVG code that I use. I'll make that also available, okay, for you to use if you want to go by that. So let's just go and select new measure. I'll paste it here. So the only thing is to calculate the country sales percentage. How do we calculate the country sales percentage? Let's just commit this, knowing very well that it's going to give us an error because there's no country sales percentage. So let's go and create our country sales percentage. And this is going to affect anything coming from the country dimension table. Okay, so this is what I have. So all value is going to be calculate the sales filtered by the country table. Okay, and then what's going to do is to divide the sales by all value. Okay, so okay, so let's do this now. We can bring in the country sales percentage to see what we have. Let me format it to be percentage. So you can see the contribution of each one of the countries. So we have this here. So all this should give us 100%. Okay, so we are now going to use the rounded bar, the SVG bar. So you can see it here. I'm multiplying this by 500 just to have a longer one, and then the test is going to have this. Okay, so I'll make this also available for you to use. So you select this now, and what you need to do is categorize it to be image URL. Okay, so this is going to be here. You can see it here. Now let's increase the width to be 100 to see, so you can have it here. Now let's remove this country sales percentage, and then we can change this to just percentage. We can make this 120. This image here should be taken out. Okay, so I think we are good now. We can bring it down here. need to readjust it well. Okay, so for sales, we can format it. Let me go to specific column. I'll select sales, and I want this to be in millions. Okay, so we have something that is not bad now. Okay, let me go and format this to be style preset to be none. I prefer to maintain the default because I want to do some format. I want to do some swapping. So grid, not horizontal. Okay, so we are good. So I can copy this now. Before then, let me turn off the, I'm still making background. So I can copy this now and paste it here. So this is going to be for country, this is going to be for continent. So let's go here, we'll remove the flag, then we bring in continent, put continent to the top here. So we have this now. You see, so for continent, because I have enough space here, I can go to image size. I'll make this 30 and I'll make this 120. Okay, so we have something good here. Very good. And I can take out the background. So I want the country to rather be on top of this. You see, country is going to be on top of this. Then we can use the toggle. Okay, so let's do this. How did I do this? That's next. Okay, so let's go back here. I'll first create my bookmark. This is going to be toggle on. And the second one is going to be toggle off. Okay. Now what I need to do next is to let's try this first. I'll bring in the selection. So I'm bringing in the selection. When I click toggle off, this should be off. When I click on, it should be on. So first of all, I'll do the on. So right click here, selected visuals. I'll go again, update. Okay. Now for off, I'll make sure the visual is selected. Okay. I'll hide it, make sure it is still selected. Then I'll come here, selected visuals, come again, update. So let's see if it is working. On, off, on, off. Very good. So now let's drag it to the top here. This is why I didn't hide the background of this, so that it can cover the other one. So let's try it again. Off, on, off, on. Okay, so let's create our toggle now. So what I need to do is to go to insert. I'll go to buttons. I'll go to navigator, select bookmark navigator. So we have on and off here. Okay, now let me just leave it on top here. Now there is something we need to do here first. Let me see. We go to bookmark. I want to select a group in here. So what I will do is to right click on toggle on. Okay, right click on toggle on, select group. Okay, and then the grouping I can name it toggle. I learned this from Bass, credit to him. So let's go back to our formatting. I'll make sure I select it again. We come here, we select the toggle, so you can see one is sitting on the other. Before it wasn't like that. Look at it. But now one is sitting on the other. Okay, you understand? So when I come and click here, let me select it again. Sorry. We go to allow this selection should be on and that should be off. So this selection should be off. So look at it. You see? Very good. Now, the next thing we want to do is, instead of showing toggle on, I'll change the caption. Select all. I'll clear it. Windows dot. We can go and bring in this circle. Okay. Now, that is what I'm going to use. When I press enter, we have the circle here. Very good. Now, I think we are done with this part. We can now go and select our data and formatting tool. Okay. So here, I'll reduce it a bit. We want to do formatting. Look at this. Then I'll bring it down here. Okay. Watch this. It's still working. But let's format this. So first, I want to use the shape. Rounded rectangle is what I want to use. Let's see if it is okay. Rounded rectangle. Let's push it to 50 and see how it is. Okay. And then now, when it is selected, so let's go to star. When it is selected, or let's say when it is default, okay, let's show the default first. When it is default, the text should be something like 13. Okay, it should be on the left. You see that the text has moved to left. Let me reduce the size to 12. The text has moved to left. Okay, and that should be it. That is okay. I can change the background to the fill color to be the color we'll be using, just that the transparency will be something like 90. Okay. Now, when it is selected, let's see this. When it is selected, so we are in the selection stage. So I'll go to selected. The text should move to the right. 12. The fill color should be blue, but the transparency will be 0. Now look at this. Very good. Okay, so this brings us to the end of this video tutorial. There is one more thing we need to add here, and that is e-commerce dashboard. Select all. The size should be 16. This part should be bold, and the color should be blue. So it should be this blue color. Then let's turn off the background. So this is what we have. Then it's left with the icon. So let me go and bring in the icon. Okay, so Okay, so this is it. Let's try and see if everything is working. You can see everything is working perfectly. Let's find this. Perfectly. So if you come here, you have this. If you select this, you have the total written somewhere here. Okay. Yeah. So this brings us to the end of this video tutorial. Guys, I'm going to make this available for those of you who want to buy the file directly. It's going to be from $7 to $10. You can buy as many as you want. The other files are also there for you to buy. And remember to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you so much.